Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today we're gonna talk about chapter 7 and chapter 8 and 9. So chapter 11 we learned about an API. Chapter 7 we learned about an API in Star Wars.jsx. Our problem was we didn't have the right API, and we added backticks in our API so that it works properly. Then we fixed our added missing comma. It didn't have a comma, and it returns the loading and no result found. After the users have entered the information in the front end, something must appear in the front end. So yeah, that was our chapter 7. And let me just show you in the front end what we got. Chapter 7, let me just go here. So as you can see, when I type look, I receive a look inside, and these are all the names that matches what I'm about to type. So if I type C, I found this. If I type R, I find this. If I type D, I find Darth Vader. If I type Lalia Organa, I find this. If I type Owen Lars, I type this. If I type 5 rand D4, I find this. And Biggs Dark Lighter Obi-Wan, I found this. So yeah, this is how it is, and this is chapter 7. So we have our Star Wars. We import it in our app.jsx. As you can see, we import it, and this is the function component that is happening. We're returning what the Star Wars in our JSX, and that's it, guys. Then we have our user form for further things in our searching. So we created a component user form which has a variable and a value inside it, which has the email, the set email, and the use state. Then we have another variable, use state, and all of that. Then it handles the submit button after the user has clicked it, and it searches for the email required, and the email should be what is this, minimum 6 characteristics and all of that. So yeah, after the user has clicked submit, it comes up with the email and password. Then the people get the front end that looks like this. So yeah, guys, that is chapter 7. Let's go to chapter 8. So with chapter 8, the main thing was to create a total list. So a total list, I'm importing my React, I'm importing my table form button from my React Bootstrap, and I'm importing my totals contracts from app.jx. Then I'm creating a function component called total list. Then I'm declaring a variable and a value, which is state dispatch, and hooks. These are called hooks. I create a hook and say I'm declaring a variable const total total task, and set total task. Then I use state, which is false, and then I'm declaring a variable button title is equals to edit mode, edit, and add. Then I'm declaring a variable which I'm telling it to handle the submit button where the user can edit it, and I turn the set edit mode to false, and I can even set it to true, it doesn't matter. And then I set the edit to null. Another one, I add the button add dispatch add payload total add to clear the field after edit. Then it returns what? It returns the handle submit the total form, and I need to enter any total. Then what it will do, it will save the information that I have added in the front end here. Let me show you. Let's go to our chapter 8, cancel this. Now we're gonna run npx vibe. That's the main server that we're running on React Hooks. Okay, we did run it. Let's go here. So as you can see, we have different types of list uh in our table, right? Let me just add Xbox. I'm adding this. It's gonna be added after I've clicked the submit button. It's gonna handle the submit button, save the information, and show the information if it matches what is happening in the total list. So what is happening after the user has clicked submit add button, enter total, an event happens, right? The table striped bordered hover to do edit. After that, I will find the front end, edit and delete, which I have an option to edit and I have an option to delete. Where is that happening? It's happening in my to-do list.jsx, and these are the tables. These are the headings in the tables, right? And yeah, I'm closing my table header. Then I'm hitting my state.total app, which takes the key, the total ID, right? And yeah, and the on click, I set the edit mode to true. Then if I set the edit mode to true, I can edit the information. Then I use dispatch to delete so that it can remove any information in there, so that when I click my delete button, it immediately dispatches and yeah, it removes it. Then I close the table and then I export my default total list. So that was the main thing in our chapter 8, to know how to create a total list using Redux hooks. And these are my hooks, right? These are my hooks, and these are my star wars.jx. We also using hooks here. We have our axios.get and everything. We have our function Star Wars, which what does it do? This is where the main function is happening. We are searching for an item. It uses search term. It sets the search term. For example, Luke will appear after I've searched for him, right? And then I type the task and the value on change and set the search term to target value. What am I targeting? I'm targeting Luke. So that's why I used the state Luke. Then the style, all of that, the characters, I'm calling what? I'm calling the value search term, and then I'm exporting my Star Wars. So that was the main thing in chapter 8. Then in chapter 9, I'm connecting an API to persist the data. So we have made progress in our total app, but our data is not yet persistent. So that is when we reload our application, all the changes we have done to our data, and it's gone. And in this chapter, we'll have to connect to an API to enable persistency in create, read, update, and delete data, which is called CRUD. So the API we are connecting to can be supported by Node.js, backend, Firebase, and ASAP. So we installed our npm g JSON server and all of that. So let's just get in let's end the server. Now let's go and get in chapter 9. Now we're gonna install our node modules. So first thing of all, we say npm I, which will install our node modules. Well, in here it doesn't install our node modules. I don't know why. Let's do this. Maybe it will assert npm I. Okay, my node modules is installing, which is a good thing. So what they also teach us is that we have to refer to a specific folder so that we don't get errors. When we install our node modules, we need to know specifically what we installing so that we don't get errors and we don't end up seeing our front end. So that's the most important thing. We need to look which file we are referring to. So now I refer to the hooks. Now it is getting the hooks, and it is giving me the right what you call it, the right information. Now we're gonna run the npx fight and see what's popping. Okay, everything is running well. Let's see our front end. So yeah, this is the same as chapter 8. We add this, add. Why doesn't it add? I don't know. Why doesn't it add? It is added. Let's see what's happening in chapter 9. Let's see what do they actually want in chapter 9. Connecting to an API, right? Okay. So we can edit, delete, all of that. Let's change them to button links as shown. Did we do that? Okay. Alright. Let's do this. So we have this, right? I don't know why when I add, let me add something different. Let's say dog. I don't know why it disappears after I've added this. I don't know. Maybe we should ask AI why is it doing that? Because everything looks fine in here. I'm importing my React, my total context, and my table form button. I'm using an API. Let's see, maybe we have the wrong API in it. Use API, initial state, total list, localhost. Let me see some. Maybe let's debug our thing and see what's going on. When I click add in my web browser for my total list, my page goes blank. What is happening? So the net error connection combined with Axios error indicates that your front end, probably running on React or another front end framework, is trying to send a request to localhost storage, but there is no server running at that address, or the server is not accessible. So the browser tried to connect to localhost 3000, but nothing responded. This usually means your backend server is not running, or it's running on a different port, or you are sending the request to the wrong URL. Or maybe if I say npm run dev, all of that, because that's what they say. Now we're gonna cancel this, take this, open this. Let's see what we get. We still get in the front end, but when I add this, it disappears. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Let me screenshot. Maybe AI will help me. I don't know, man. I don't know. Your program running is trying to whatever start here. Okay, add error handling prevention. Your app should not crash if the API calls fails. Wrap it in try. Okay, app. Let's see what we get now. Backend running not unreachable. Okay, Xbox. Maybe there's a problem with my API, right? As they said, we need to fix our API. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. But still, even if I add async, right? I'm not getting what I want. Still. Hmm. I'm using Axios without importing it. Like, wow. I did import. Oh. Let's go import it, man. Okay, see. Number two, your front end is trying to connect, but it's not running. Make sure your backend server is running on localhost 3000 and has a root. But we're not running on Node, we're using React. Uncaught anxious error in use API. Update your use API. I did update it. An error occurred in the form component. Something inside your form like handle submit crashes due to anxious error. Once Axios is properly imported, you can add try catch blocks around the Axios.post calls in your form. Uh, okay, let's see. In my form, Axios.post. Where is that thing? Axios.post handle submit. Axios.post. Wait, let me see if this thing. Okay. Still, I don't know, guys. I'm going to fix this alone up until I get what I want, and I'll update you guys and upload another video on this. Thank you for viewing my YouTube channel, and I hope you take the subscribe button.